first and foremost, thank you for joining us. If you can
Yeah.
just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, how you got into reselling, that would be great.
Yeah, my name's V, and I live in Salem, Oregon. I'm actually a full-time youth director and a teacher in the school district, which not really right now because Corona. I'm actually a sub. And I write grants for a couple nonprofits in Oregon and Washington, and apparently I resell clothes on the internet. So that's what I do, and it's a lot of fun. I got into reselling kind of in a weird way. I had a pair of, well, I guess probably the way that a lot of people get into it. I had a pair of boots. I had a pair of Fry boots, and I wasn't wearing them. It was like my old personality, my old like aesthetic, and I wanted to get rid of them. And so I listed them on Poshmark. I'd heard of Poshmark. I didn't check any comps. I didn't do anything. I just listed them for what I paid, and they didn't sell. And then I started going through my closet because Poshmark was like, you know, if you have 5 or more listings, like you'll get more people. And so I was getting rid of older clothes and just listing stuff. And I sold my first item probably like 3 months after I started selling. And then it took me a full week to ship because I was on a volunteer trip in LA with my youth, and I was like, oh no, they're gonna cancel my order or whatever, but I shipped it. It all went well. And then it wasn't until like the following May that the boots sold. But by then I built this whole thing. So
But yeah, that first sale probably gave you a little bit of confidence and adrenaline that, oh, maybe I can sell things online. I think that's how it happens for a lot of us, is once you make that first sale, you realize, oh, people really want this stuff. And
yeah,
then it gives you some encouragement and some drive to make sure you get other listings up there. And then over time, it turns into something.
for sure. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. What type of items do you sell?
So my specialty is sportswear. I used to sell a little bit of everything, but I'm a marathoner, and I do CrossFit, and I know athleisure, I know athletic wear, I know it inside and out. I know the brands, I know the quality, I know the MSRP. Like, I've been buying it for years, and I just decided, you know, I'm going to curate a closet that is just this stuff. So I sell Lululemon, Athleta, Nike, Reebok, CrossFit specific brands, a lot of internet brands, like stuff that pops up on Instagram that you're like, what is that? There's definitely a following for every one of those brands. So yeah,
Absolutely. I just made a tip recently on our account that I encourage people to always try to sell things that you're knowledgeable about, just because it makes it so much easier for you. It seems like people get into reselling and they see a lot of people selling clothes and different things, and they might not be very knowledgeable about clothes, but they want to get into selling clothing because people are sourcing at thrift stores and it looks interesting. But if you sell things that you know about, and I think you know that, which is why you sell sportswear, you can definitely find items that are underpriced easier. You know the brands, they stand out to you. You understand the quality of those different things. But somebody might have that same knowledge about tennis rackets, you know what I mean, about anything. And if they apply their reselling time and energy to clothing, they're probably not going to do as well as they would if they would have sold tennis racket. So I like that you said that, because that's important. You're very knowledgeable about sportswear, and it probably helps you to feel more confident knowing what you're giving your customers.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Where do you source? Like, where do you find your items?
I mean, all the typical locations, you know, thrift stores. I really don't mess with the bins too much. I feel like the bins, because I have such a curated approach to my closet, sometimes it can just be a waste of time to go through the bins and find like 3 items. I source consignment shops. I also actually consign items. I know a lot of resellers do not consign items, but because I belong to a CrossFit gym, I belong to a running group, I have so many people that have really good quality items, and it's worth it for me to do a sell and a 50-50 split or a 60-40 split, because the stuff sells so fast. I mean, my sell-through rate is like 44 days. So it's not a waste of time for me. And it's not any more profitable to buy it off of them and sell it. So I sell for my friends. I sell for people. I've actually recently gotten into sourcing on a brand new platform that just like started in the last year, I think. It's called Curtsy. And on my Instagram, I've been giving away a code for like $10 off.
Right.
But not just that, I've been doing the hunt for people, finding the item that they can get shipped for free for like under $10 and being like, flip this item. And that's cool. It's not a waste of time for me because they use my code and then I get $10 to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's a great service.
Share the love. But yeah, so some online arbitrage, you know, if Real sends me a coupon code. I haven't done any of the rescue boxes yet. It's tough when I have such a niche, and also trying to keep it manageable, keep myself within a certain amount of money invested in the company. Yeah. So I don't develop a really expensive like habit of buying clothes that don't fit me.
That's smart. Yeah. That's smart. I'll let Alejandra pick up on the next question.
Right, awesome. So what marketplaces do you usually sell on and why?
I sell primarily on Poshmark because it is my bread and butter. I mean, it brings in thousands a month and is relatively low maintenance. And I can delist and relist very quickly. I've just gotten into eBay, which I have been very hesitant about getting back into for years. I tried to use it like 4 years ago. It did not go over well, but it's been awesome. And I'm being very specific about the products I put on there. And actually, I'm trying to expand a little bit and get into the market of newest tags toys by Christmas. And so I have an eBay with a ton of newest tags toys and also a lot of my shoes. So like Nike, Sorel, Adidas, that kind of stuff. It's all on eBay. I do sell direct from Instagram to my followers and Facebook Marketplace. I've been getting into that this last week, especially because they're not charging a commission through the end of the year. And stuff tends to flip pretty quickly there. So.
Wow. So yeah, in addition to all the things that you named earlier that you're involved in, it seems like that's probably a large undertaking to be present on all those different platforms.
Yeah, Vendoo makes it easy. Gonna be real. Like, I cannot wait until you guys have Facebook Marketplace. Like, I'm dying for you to get it. Just why I messaged you and I was like, are you guys gonna add it? This is huge. Now would be an amazing time to add it just because they are charging no commission through the end of the year. So there's huge incentive for sellers to get on there. Yeah. And listing 150 items one by one is tough.
Yeah, we've definitely been considering Facebook Marketplace. We're considering some other marketplaces as well, but we will have it eventually.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, Alejandra.
So next question, what do you like most about reselling?
It's fun. I mean, I've always kind of been a minimalist by nature. I don't like to have a lot of stuff. And so reselling is tough because I have to carry stuff that's not mine. But I feel like it's that one part of my life I can be a little bit reckless and be like, hey, let me buy some stuff that I would never use. And sell it really quickly and get it out of here. But at the same time, I do limit myself the number of listings that I undertake because I am so busy with other things. But I love the fact that I could scale this at any given time. I could scale this and make it way bigger. And I've said it time and time again this year, I've never had this kind of financial stability in my life. I've worked in nonprofits for 15 years. And when you work in nonprofits, you kind of just know that like you're not an essential, anything could change at any time. I grew up really poor, like really poor. And so just the fact that like reselling has given me something that I feel like nobody can take away from me. Like nobody can take this away from me. Like you could shut down my account and it still wouldn't take it away from me. Like there's always another way to do this. And so, yeah, I feel like that's how Vendoo has been the most helpful to me too, is that because it's made the job so much more like manageable and easy to cross list, like it just makes it even more financially fruitful.
Yeah. So we kind of touched on this a little bit already, but what are your biggest challenges? Like what do you come across and you feel like this is really a pain point for me throughout your reselling adventures?
I think trying to find inventory that is high quality, a good flip, and especially when things are changing and always in transition. Like with the pandemic, with the shutdown in Oregon, I couldn't get inventory at all. I mean, everything was closed. I was doing what everybody was doing. I was reaching out on Nextdoor. I was reaching out to my friends list, but getting the inventory that I want to sell and I want to curate was tough. And I had to be like really creative in a way that I'm not forced to be. I mean, reselling there's such a low bar to entry. Like if you know something, you can make money. But when nothing's open, you have to figure it out. And so like during the pandemic, I ended up calling a local consignment store and just saying, hey, I'll buy your Lululemon rack sight unseen. I saw it last weekend at your sale. Like, I will buy it. Give me your bottom dollar, like your very bottom dollar. And they ended up giving me like 28 pieces at an $8 price point.
Wow.
And I just did a porch pickup. Like I Venmo'd them, picked it up, it was done. And that was huge. And learning how to source online during that time, there was a lot of resourcefulness taking place. Like the Facebook group Quarantine Thrift took off out of that. And people were like trading inventory. It was really cool to watch, but definitely the biggest challenge has been this year with the pandemic and the unknown of it all.
So, I understand that completely. I know definitely during the pandemic, there was just a general panic and uncertainty because people just didn't know when things would get back to a little bit more normal circumstance. And we were thinking like, can we hold out this long without new inventory? Can we, there was uncertainty about the post office. What's going to happen if the post office is having issues? And so there were all these different uncertainties that were going on this year. And it's good to hear that you were able to figure out ways to kind of weather that storm and then to get things back on track so that they're doing well for you, which is great.
Yeah.
Alejandra, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so we want to get a little bit into Vendoo just to like understand how you use the platform, what you think about it. So how has the Vendoo experience been for you?
It's been interesting. So I was a beta user. So I've probably been with the platform about a year now, I think, right? It started in the winter.
It's been about a year. So our original beta was July of last year, July of 19.
Oh, wow. It's been that long.
It's been that long, yeah.
I literally
we started, we launched publicly in January.
Yes, I remember that. I remember it like, it was awesome. You guys kept extending the free period. I was like, this is awesome. But I was a beta user, so I totally understand that the platform was going through its kinks and like trying to get itself worked out. And so it was cool to watch that happen and see how quick you guys like managed and handled things. I could tell that you were working like around the clock to make it happen for us to use. And I have tried all the cross-listing software, all of it. And I love it. It's so easy. It's so smooth. The delist relist feature is awesome. I remember when you guys were having, when it first started, if you delisted something that had an offer on it, you could still relist it and it would like copy the listing, which was fine because I'm like, I'll just delete the one that doesn't sell. But it was cool that you guys made it where, hey, you actually can't relist it. It has an offer. And so that was awesome because it's just made it so much easier to manage my own inventory. And it's been a really big tool for me in managing my time every week. So there's a group of resellers that say, you know, Sunday is free listing, like, and so we spend Sunday night and we all just relist our entire Poshmark closet and wake up to sales on Monday morning, clear some inventory. And then obviously I'm using it every day. Every day I tend to relist one brand on Poshmark. And it just eliminates the amount of sharing I have to do. Because when things go to just in, it's right there. And people are searching my brand all day long. People are looking for Lululemon all day long.
That's interesting. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's interesting to hear you say you relist by brand, because I like to hear how different people incorporate Vendoo into their workflow. And I've never heard anyone say that they relist, like they section off their closet by brand and relist by brand. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, just because I have so many brands that I have, that I carry a lot of, like, I think I have like 35 pieces of Lululemon right now. I have probably like 22 pieces of Nike. So it just makes it easier to manage how long I've had the piece. And a lot of times if people are searching by brand and they go to Just In and I'm quick, then my listing will pull up in Just In together and people can bundle because they see it's the same seller.
That's smart.
Yeah, so
very smart.
A lot of times I'll do it by size even. I'm like, okay, all the mediums, all the larges, and just really cool. Do it like that. I mean, I've been exploring the software like the whole time, and I feel like I always find something new, and I also find little things that I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I did this, or yeah. But I also know that you guys are like really creative and you're thinking about those things. And I know that
we love that feedback too, by the way. Because we need that feedback. That's how we improve. So like we would love to hear, especially from somebody that has a successful business, somebody that's knowledgeable, that has a established workflow before you incorporated Vendoo and then after Vendoo. So we would like to hear how those things are either inconsistent or how we can make improvements. But we can talk about those another time, maybe maybe offline. But
yeah, I sent messages about it. I'm like, hey,
that is really, really awesome. I did like to hear about your relisting. So is that your favorite feature on the platform, the relisting, or do you have something else that you like a lot?
That and the import. I mean, the fact that I can just import the listing and then scoot it over to eBay or whatever, that's huge. But people talk about other platforms. I mean, I'm not going to say them by name, but they talk about it, and I say to people, I'm like, are you on Vendoo? Like, are you using this? And they're like, oh, I tried it. I wasn't a big fan. I like this other one better. And then like within 24 hours, they're telling me about some complicated workaround using their relisting platform to get their item into the Just In category. And I'm like, literally all you have to do is click delist, relist. Like, why are you making your life more difficult? Like,
it doesn't get much simpler than that.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm like, and they pay more for it. I'm just like, what? Why? Like, but no, not about that life. All Vendoo.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No? Okay.
Go ahead.
So I was just going to ask, what do you think has been your, like, how has Vendoo solved, or what was your biggest pain point before using Vendoo? Was it time, or was it management of inventory, or what do you think is the biggest pain point Vendoo has solved for you?
I think Vendoo is the ultimate hack to Poshmark specifically, because because they haven't gone public, though they did this week. Because they haven't gone public, they want people on the app all the time. They're trying to build up that to show their investors like, hey, we have people on the app all the time, and they force you to share all the time and do things. And ultimately, like, once you list something, it's kind of relevant for like 3 hours, and then by then it just kind of falls into the mix. And Vendoo is like this rule following way for me to like flip a switch and be like, actually, I'm back, because sharing doesn't put it into the Just In. Sharing just, gets it in front of your followers. And as we've learned in the last year, sharing other people's listings does nothing. Like, and other people sharing your listings does very little. And so that's a waste of time. And so I feel like it has really changed that for me. The other thing that Vendoo has really done, and I will say it time and time again, is like, Vendoo transformed my business. It took my business from an unpredictable amount of income each month to something I can kind of forecast every month. Like, I know I can forecast, hey, I'm going to make 2K this month, because when I delist and relist, I know that my sell-through rate goes up and it's faster, and things don't get stale. And I'm not afraid to like let go of the likes on an item and just be like, they're not going to buy it. Like, so just start over. So that's been huge. And I can't tell you the number of times that I have delisted and relisted an item. That item has sold in 48 hours and my Vendoo has been paid for the month. So it's huge. Awesome. It's a hack. It's a huge hack, and people are just not with it. I don't get it.
That's amazing. I will say on behalf of Poshmark, I know that they are trying to foster like a community aspect and a community feel on their platform. And there's people who get value from the socializing and the social features that they've incorporated into their software. But if you're on there specifically to sell and make money and you're not just there to make friends, then you probably need tools like the D-list and relist just to make things a little bit more efficient for you. So it's good to hear that it's been working.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that's it. I guess you can just let us know, what would you tell a reseller that isn't using Vendoo? What would you tell them? What would you want them to know about the software?
I just tell them that they're leaving money on the table. And I say that all the time on my Instagram stories when I list, like when I drop my referral code, like, hey, save 25%. You are leaving money on the table. Like, just try it, see what happens. If people aren't trying it, then they don't know. And I think this is a business where you have to constantly evolve. It's like evolve or die. And if they're not using it, then they're not trying to evolve in that way. And ultimately, I think that they're contributing to their burnout. It's such an exhausting thing to do all parts of reselling that why wouldn't you use these tools that you can write off on your taxes? Like, I don't understand. So
write off on your taxes, and as you said a second ago, you might make one sale that pays for your subscription for the month. So if you look at it that way, it's a very small investment into your reselling business, which I would hope that you're trying to scale and improve and grow. So this was awesome. We really appreciate you joining us, giving us your input. It's great to hear that Vendoo's working for you. We love that you've been on the platform for so long and that you're an affiliate and that you're really helping us, and you've been really just in the weeds with us as we've been growing. So we appreciate that. So we want to thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.